6 hours of sleep feels fine. That's the problem. Operating on 6 hours of sleep is a dangerous biological lie, and your brain literally cannot tell how impaired it is. We're going to look at some data today that will permanently change how you treat tonight, and every single night after.
When scientists actually compared sleep deprivation to alcohol intoxication, the results were, well, they were terrifying. You are essentially operating a vehicle, doing your job, and living your life while legally drunk.
Here is the core idea you need to understand right now. Sleep deprivation and alcohol have the exact same effect on your brain. If you string together just 10 days of 6-hour nights, which, let's be honest, is a standard work week and a weekend for millions of us, you're as impaired as someone who's been awake for 24 hours straight. You wouldn't drive after drinking, and you wouldn't go to work after pulling an all-nighter. But because you caught those 6 hours, you feel normal. That false sense of security is exactly what makes this so incredibly dangerous.
And this damage, it happens almost immediately. Just one bad night completely wipes out 40% of your ability to form new memories. Think about that. That exam you just crammed for, or that critical briefing you prepped for at work. That lack of sleep literally just erased nearly half of that information straight out of your brain.
Let's move into the physical world and see how this builds. When we lose just a single hour of sleep, we see a 24% spike in car accidents the very next day. 1 hour. That is an immediate, deadly spike in errors on the road, simply because millions of drivers are operating with an impaired reaction time they aren't even aware of.
The moment your sleep drops below 7 hours, your immune system's frontline defenses just plummet. You're 3 times more likely to catch a cold. Your body literally stops producing the shields it needs to fight off the infections floating around you every single day.
Stretch this out into chronic sleep deprivation, and the numbers become horrifying. According to the World Health Organization, there's a 70% rise in cancer risk linked directly to chronic sleep loss. Listen, this isn't just about feeling a little groggy. This is about fundamental cellular failure. Which ultimately leads us here. You face a 12% higher risk of death if you're consistently sleeping less than 6 hours a night. A shortened sleep schedule undeniably equals a shortened lifespan. The toll on the body is absolute.
Section 1. Sleep isn't rest. It's maintenance. Okay, let's dive into this because we need to stop thinking of sleep as just turning off like a computer. Unconsciousness is active, aggressive, and vital biological maintenance.
When you fall asleep, your body essentially clocks in for the night shift. First off, your brain literally cleans itself. It flushes out toxic waste that builds up during the day, including the very proteins linked to Alzheimer's disease. While that's happening, your muscles are repairing themselves. In fact, 90% of human growth hormone is released during deep sleep. No sleep means zero physical recovery. Meanwhile, your immune system hits a hard reset, producing the crucial cytokines you need to fend off illness. And mentally, your brain is actively grabbing the day's experiences and moving them from vulnerable short-term storage into long-term memory.
But look, not all sleep is created equal. We spend about 50% of the night in light sleep, which is just the entry point where our heart rate slows down. REM sleep takes up about 25%. That's where we dream and process complex emotions. But look at deep sleep. It's only 20% of the night, but this is the absolute most critical stage for your physical recovery. This is where the brain cleaning, the memory consolidation, and that massive release of growth hormone happens. If you cut your sleep short to 6 hours, your brain ruthlessly sacrifices this deep, restorative sleep.
Section 2. The accidental experiment, daylight saving time. If you're still somehow skeptical that a single hour makes a difference, consider this. Every single year, the world unwittingly runs a massive experiment on millions of human beings simultaneously.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer power of sleep. In the spring, when we lose just 1 hour, hospitals report a 24% increase in heart attacks the very next day. But in the autumn, when we gain 1 hour, heart attacks drop by 21%. Gaining or losing a single hour literally dictates the physical survival of thousands of people. The data across millions of individuals is completely undeniable.
Which brings us to the most widespread and, frankly, most dangerous illusion people use to justify their 6-hour nights. We've all said it, right? I'll just catch up on sleep this weekend. I need to be brutally honest with you. You can't. Sleep debt simply doesn't work like a bank loan. The cognitive impairment from sleep deprivation stacks up day after day. A couple of extra hours of sleep on Saturday and Sunday only partially reverses the damage.
It actually takes weeks of consistent, full sleep to restore your brain's baseline functions. By Monday morning, you're still carrying the biological damage of last week.
Section 3, the fix is free. Sleep more. Because here is the good news. The cure for this massive biological crisis doesn't require a prescription, and it doesn't cost a single dime.
To fix it, we rely on 4 highly actionable behavioral changes. First, go to bed at the exact same time every day, even on weekends. Your biological clock absolutely craves rhythm. Second, cut out all screens 30 minutes before bed. The blue light from your phone literally blocks the release of melatonin, tricking your brain into thinking the sun is still up. Third, sleep in a cold room. Dropping the temperature to between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, or 18 to 20 Celsius, signals to your body that it's time to power down. And finally, no caffeine after 2 p.m. Caffeine stays in your system for 8 full hours. If you have a coffee at 4 p.m., half of that caffeine is still actively fighting your brain's sleep signals at midnight.
So let's cut through the noise. Stop glorifying the hustle of running on empty. The absolute most productive thing you can do for your career, your family, and your survival tonight is simply to go to sleep. Tonight, go to bed 1 hour earlier. Just 1 hour. Your brain will thank you tomorrow. The science is clear. The data is undeniable. The choice is yours. Look at your schedule tonight. How many hours will you actually get?